Starbane's Avenue.
Hey everybody, welcome again to Sklar Bro Country, the virus edition, aka the Panty Pods.
AKA two jorts, no shorts.
AKA, someone else had another really good one. Oh, they had a really good one. I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look it up. You keep AKA.
AKA two guys, no lies. AKA two Jews, no Harmon Killebrews.
AKA two Jews, no Terry Crews.
AKA two Jews, no Tom Cruise.
Yeah, there we go.
AKA two fellas, no acapellas.
AKA two Wolverines, one Sklarantine. Thank you
go.
very much.
Who was that?
That was Sinquinogram on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for commenting on this and letting us know that if this podcast is doing anything for you. It's growing, which is kind of it's cool. We started from nothing and it's really grown. Tell people about it. It's so much fun. 30 minutes of your day, so you're not thinking about death tolls. You're not thinking about flattening curves. You're not thinking about just the stock market and where it's fluctuating. You are just trying to make fun of things. And sometimes we talk about real things that are going on.
Sometimes we connect with what's happening in our lives. Sometimes we talk about people that we feel like, look, we know unfortunately people are going to die. We sometimes make the argument for who we'd like to see go.
And now, thanks to our president, we have basically a delivery system for these people to die. Just drink Lysol.
Just put that.
Inject yourself
with cleaning fluids.
We're not telling you not to do it.
It's doing a number on the lungs.
If you can feel like you need to inject yourself or drink Clorox.
If you think the fake news is keeping you from being able to go into your cleaning cabinet and just ingest everything you need in order to clean that COVID out of you.
If you call the mainstream media MM.
What?
Just MM.
MM for mainstream media.
For mainstream media.
Or if you call it fake news. If you say to yourself, I need to go protest. I need to stand with a large group of people and really yell at my mayor's house.
Let us get you ready for that protest. If you want to just go drink some Lysol.
You should drink some Lysol ahead of time just to, in my opinion, just to
build up that immunity.
God.
Drink Clorox, drink Lysol, OxyClean. Just eat a whole mess of that stuff.
Wasn't there a TV show?
The president said it was cool.
He said it's okay.
He said it was cool. Drink all of it.
And then put light inside your body. How do you get it in? Through your skin.
That's right. Rip off your skin.
Get it in through your skin. Wait, isn't that how it gets in every day? Through outside?
No.
That's not how. There's a new way to get it in through your skin.
All I'm saying is if you are 100% believe what this president says, drink some Lysol.
Do it. Do what he said.
Protect yourself. Do what he say.
Do what he say.
What amazes me in this time, Jay, is that when professional people lose their minds, professional people, because
a crazy crackpot, we get it. We understand that's your MO. You're just staying on brand. You're staying in your crazy lane.
Right.
When a professional person goes off the rails,
because that's happening more than often right now.
Oh, it's happening more than often and more often than not.
More often than not.
There you go.
More than often. It's happening a lot.
Right.
Often is a lot and more than often is a lot.
Right.
This Louisville attorney, so he should know the law.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been to Louisville. Wasn't there that great restaurant that we ate at in Louisville? Someone told us about some great Italian restaurant. Was that in Richmond?
Richmond,
Virginia.
Louisville had all the wig stores. Do you remember that?
Louisville had what we consider to be a wig district.
I think you only need one wig store. Every store was selling the same type of wig. No one was doing anything different, but yet there were 6 wig stores on one block.
We were in the wig district. That's where the comedy club was.
We wanted to have our own wig store and just call it Wig Her Please.
Wig Her Please.
And then we wanted to have a bandana kiosk right out in front of the wig, covering up the wig store, owned by Bret Michaels,
the lead singer of Poison, who uses his bandana to cover the fact that he's lost his hair.
So it covers, it blocks the part of the wig store.
The front of a wig store.
And we call it the Bandana Republic.
What? Please?
Louisville attorney was arrested on Tuesday this past week of allegedly making threats against Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Now, Beshear, by all accounts, is a well-liked dude. Yes, he's a Democrat in a red state, but Matt Jones, our buddy who does KY Sports Radio,
who is by all accounts, a progressive thinker.
He just wrote a book called Mitch Please about Mitch McConnell, which is fantastic and really about Kentucky politics and whatnot.
What I love about Matt Jones is that here's a guy who is
traverses in the sports world.
In the sports world, which we know runs red.
Yeah.
People's blood and their politics run red in the world of sports. We know that because we enter that. It is very rare that you see a lot of blue-blooded in the sense of liberal thinking sports fans. It's just, especially down south. Matt Jones, unabashed, he's still popular. This guy, this governor of Kentucky, he's a Democrat. And I'm not saying he's like a crazy liberal Democrat.
No, but he's supposed to be a good guy that actually most of the state of Kentucky likes him.
They're behind this guy.
And so this man, James Troutman, 53, sounds really old, right? 5 years older than us. He's in our range. I have friends that are older than him.
He faces a misdemeanor charge of what?
Third-degree terroristic threatening. A local outlet, WDRB, is reporting. Third degree.
Threatening the governor.
He was giving someone the third degree, which is always like, isn't that? That's when you feel. I think that's worded incorrectly. He was giving him the third degree.
Right, but so here's where
the first degree is worse.
So murder in the first degree.
It's the worst.
But a third degree burn is worse than a first degree burn.
But so murder is the only one that isn't the right way.
Right. Well, yeah. As you go higher in a burn,
it's worse.
It's worse. If you go higher in a murder, second degree murder, third degree murder,
maybe it wasn't your fault.
Maybe I was by accident. I tripped and I murdered him.
The arrest comes after statements were made on Facebook. Of course, a Facebook account bearing the name Greg Troutman.
Which is his name. So he wasn't even hiding it.
Which police later attributed to the lawyer named Greg Troutman.
What kind of lawyer is this guy, Rand?
I'm going to just go out on a limb.
We're going to guess. We don't know, so we're just going to speculate.
Child porn addict defender. He defends those like the guy. All right. Like he defends clowns of children's birthday parties who got a little too touchy with the kids.
He's upset that someone captured the Friedmans.
He gets those guys off on technicalities. Okay. A statement was posted on the Facebook page on April 15th reading,
Tax Day.
Maybe someone should ask Bashir in a press conference about his thoughts on William Goebel. For those of you who don't know the history, it's a good read.
Why don't you share the history because some people might not know the gubernatorial history of Kentucky.
I wasn't aware of it, and then I found out. I got a little lesson here. Goebel, Kentucky's 34th governor, was shot in 1900, the day before being sworn in after the divisive election, and died 4 days later. Divisive?
Divisive.
I think this point is becoming very divisive.
Interesting.
Don't be divisive. Election and died 4 days later. He remains the only state governor in the United States history who was assassinated during a contested election. So this
lawyer is saying, check out the story of this other governor who was murdered.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good read.
Invoking an old story of a governor who was assassinated. That's not good and probably against the law of which this guy should be well versed.
Hey, dummy, we're in your arena and you still don't know what you're doing.
It's not like you own a car wash and you broke the law because you didn't know the law. When questioned by the police, Troutman allegedly admitted to making the post and gave a detailed account of Goebel's assassination. What are you doing?
Thank you.
I wonder how he spun it. Like, this is the type of guy who always thinks he's smarter than everyone else.
The lawyer?
Yeah,
who's out
Troutman
there?
Is like...
I bet if I just come forward and I'm super straightforward, they won't understand. They'll think there's no way I could have actually meant it.
He doesn't know what he sounds like to other people. He's kind of like Kentucky Ken Kratz. Ken Kratz on Making a Murderer... Like, he had no...
He thought he was coming off great,
right,
is what you're trying to say.
He's the type of guy who thinks his ties are awesome.
And they're too long.
Kentucky State Police then was contacted days later about another alleged statement made by Troutman. Wondering aloud about how a governor can get shot is probably not something Troutman should be doing.
Ever. Like, it's not something anyone should be doing.
Troutman and an anonymous user were reportedly having an exchange about the protest plan, which, of course, we said, again, if you want to protest...
Drink some Clorox
Drink
first.
some of that stuff so that you can build up your immunity.
Just be careful because you're going to be out among other people. You should drink some Lysol.
You should probably drink, empty out the Lysol, drink all. If you have any sort of, insect repellent and any of that stuff, drink off.
You got to be careful,
You got to get the disease off you. Listen to the president. He's saying just inject yourself with cleaner fluid.
Yeah.
Will the governor be there shooting plates? Basically, the anonymous user wrote, according to records. What does that mean? Will the shooting at people's license plates, or just caught shooting
like clay pigeons,
skeet shooting?
Skeet shooting.
No, I love when people think they're making a joke, but then have to explain it.
That's not funny.
It's no longer
It doesn't
a joke.
make sense. You're a dumb Facebook person in a
Shooting
Facebook.
photos of people's plates is what I guess he's saying.
No, shooting plates.
It's so unclear. Just make the joke clear, dummies. Bashir announced earlier this month that officials were recording license plate information for those breaking stay-at-home orders for church services.
Oh, shooting plates like that.
Yeah.
So it's shooting license plates
Right.
to see who's
breaking
violating.
the law. That's right.
Okay.
Quote, with any luck, the governor will be the one at whom the shooting will be directed.
Okay.
Troutman allegedly wrote back. So he got
He
the
worked
English
really
right.
hard. He worked really hard to get the grammatical.
At whom?
At whom?
That's pretty unbelievable. Oh, Troutman. This should be the end of Troutman's legal prowess.
This
right?
should be the thing for which Troutman gets
disbarred, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the last case he'll ever tried. Or the last case he will ever try will be the failed version of him representing himself
in this case where he screwed up.
Your Honor, we should be allowed to talk about the assassinating of a governor on Facebook. It's Facebook.
If not Facebook, then where? Is what Troutman would posit.
Police said Troutman expressed an intent to commit a crime, quote, likely to result in the death or serious physical injury to the Kentucky governor.
Yeah, they got it right.
If the police can understand that and we can understand that, I love how Troutman thinks he's shrouding it in secrecy. Yeah, the police got it right. Everyone knew what you were talking about, Troutman.
He probably thought he was being smarter than the room. I was hiding it. I veiled it.
He's being held on a $5,000 cash bond. If he pays, he'll be placed on home incarceration.
Which we all are already on home incarceration.
And we'll have to stay off. This is the other thing. He'll have to stay off the internet and have no contact with Bashir. How are you going to keep him off the internet? He comes up with another username?
Just surfing. I'm just surfing. Like, what do they abolish
This feels like
Wi-Fi?
too low of a bond for a lawyer. Am I right?
Yes.
Excuse me, a soon-to-be disbarred lawyer.
Well, does he have a lawyer?
Troutman's attorney, Steve
he does have a lawyer.
Romines, told WDRB that what Troutman wrote was not a threat.
Yes, it was a threat. I'm sorry. It was a threat.
Talking about
whether it's you personally threatening this guy or you putting out there, gee, would be a shame if this guy got shot.
This is like we were saying about the post office. I don't want anything to happen to the post office. You can't say that, even if you don't want anything to happen to the post office. I don't want anything to happen to Governor Bashir. You can't say that. You cannot say that.
He could say, oh, yeah, I was just expressing what I hoped would happen. Still, that's an incitement.
Quote, what's more unhelpful and ridiculous is saying it's a crime and arresting him for it. To put him in jail over Facebook post that doesn't meet the definition of terroristic threatening is absurd, Romanis said. Is it absurd?
Is it absurd? Right now, you're a lawyer.
Maybe you want to make a third-degree terroristic threat, huh, Romanis?
He didn't say it was a first-degree threat. He said third degree.
I feel like Romanis is a paralegal who's never tried a case before, and he's now representing Troutman.
Right. He's like an assistant from the office.
So The Hill, who covered this, reached out to Bashir's office for comment. The governor is one of several leaders across the country who have now faced criticism for their response in the ongoing coronavirus
meaning
pandemic.
For them trying to shut down their country to protect its citizens.
Their county and
their state to protect their citizens. Correct.
Protesters disrupted Bashir's press briefing last week, gathered on the lawn of the state capitol chanting, "We want to work," and "Facts over fear." Facts over fear is the funniest thing that anyone can say during this whole lockdown. Facts over fear coming from a group of people who routinely operate out of fear over facts.
Who use fear, who prey upon people's fears to try and outdo facts.
Protection over death. How about that?
Yeah.
That's what I would say right back to them. And remember, more than 100 Kentuckians also protested Bashir's restrictions in Frankfurt, arguing the business need reopen after more than 500,000 Kentuckians filed for unemployment in March. Yeah. It's the governor's fault that the country is in this mess right now.
Right.
Just days before Bashir announced to the state that the highest spike of coronavirus cases came after the protests.
Right.
So the fact is we need to fear more gatherings like the ones the protesters had. That's the fact.
Right. There's your fact, and your fear comes right behind it.
And the only reason is because it's taxing the health care workers. I don't want to put them in this position. If it was just those people, if they just drank Lysol and died at home.
Come on.
And didn't have to go into a hospital.
This is the solution. This has to happen.
Protest it. This is what I'm saying. If you protest and you go out and protest,
and you get sick because you went out and protested,
you are not allowed to go to a hospital.
You don't get help.
You are not allowed to go to hospital. That is my thing.
You forfeit your chance.
You are not
take
allowed
the chance. Take the risk.
Take the risk. It's yours. but you don't get a chance.
Bleed out like a deer.
There we go.
Bleed out like a deer, damn it.
All right, there we go. First story. There it is. Let's
In
take
the books.
And thank you guys again for paying attention to this and listening to this and watching this. And go to our YouTube page. We got more episodes of Cheap Seats are up right now. It is so much fun. Hang out. I was just tooling around watching all the old episodes. The hour-long episodes are up there. So check it out in our stand-up clips and all that other stuff. And we'll be right back after this break.
Jello, set, go.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Hope you actually are taking time to separate the weekend from the week. That's a very important thing. Whatever it is, even if it's pizza night on Friday night with your kids or letting them stay up later or having Zoom sessions or hangouts with friends, try and make the weekend different. I think it actually makes a difference in this time. It gives you something to look forward to. I know I do. We're recording this on Friday, so I'm excited about not having to work over the weekend.
Sure.
And I know it's crazy right now because everyone out there is trying to make a buck right now. Everyone out there is. And while we say be creative, it's not cool to be deceptive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. You don't want to be deceptive. Creative is finding new ways to connect with your people.
Repurpose your staff, figure out something like we said the other day about the adult
I said adult ice cream truck. They come around and they'd give
daiquiris and
daiquiris
and alcoholic beverages. Boom, there you go.
We have to do that. I'm not kidding.
This next story is about what not to do if you're a business. And when you hear who's involved, you'll immediately be like, yeah, they're the assholes behind this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Kendall Neff, great name, thought could have been a he or a she.
Yeah.
Thought she was supporting a local small business when she and her husband ordered food on last Saturday evening. Okay. The pizza shop listed on GrubHub's as Pasquale's Pizza and Wings seemed independent at first. Its menu offered those items and little else besides cookie pizza and canned sodas. What is a canned soda? Is that like sodas that live out in the wild off Vancouver Island and you catch them and send them away to be canned?
Canned sodas. It's soda in a can. And cookie pizza. Is that pizza the size of a cookie or cookies?
Cookies in the shape of a
size
pizza.
of a pizza. Okay.
The Oaks, Pennsylvania resident was preparing for another night in and something cheesy. Come on. And her husband was craving wings.
So these are healthy people. That's what we know about
first glance, they assumed that the restaurant with no reviews at the time, always bad to go with that, was
a small business trying to get out there and trying to make their way. And if you see no reviews,
that's always
that's your
thing.
first red flag. This place has not been reviewed. Something is up.
No matter how many canned sodas they claim to have, you cannot do that. So it turns out the GrubHub listing was for a virtual restaurant operated from the Chuck E. Cheese.
Charles Edward Cheese
in Berwyn. Pasquale is the pizza-making character in the franchise's lore and animatronic shows. Did you know that, Jay?
Have you ever had
Pasquale's?
the pizza? Have you ever had the pizza at a
No.
Chuck E. Cheese?
No.
I have. I've had it at
I had it once.
at 9, 10 in the morning.
It does not taste like pizza.
It does not taste like pizza. It's both thick and thin at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It ain't no Domino's as far as you're concerned. You gotta be up on your Chuck E. Cheese's ancillary characters if you don't want to get burned, is all I'm gonna say right now on GrubHub these days.
Yes.
It's just funny that she says, my reasoning for choosing this place as being a small business that needed our help kind of backfired. Neff said,
It did kind of
It
backfire.
backfired on you.
But who's reporting this? I want to know did she report it to the news?
Yep.
Who is reporting on this?
I don't know anyone who's ever gone to Chuck E. Cheese's and not gotten into a verbal altercation about a ticket redemption and thought, well, this backfired.
Yeah.
Everyone feels that way. Epically.
Look, didn't we do a story recently about a woman who got her hair stuck in the ticket?
In the ticket. The ticket thing that gives you a receipt. Yeah.
Which, by the way, there are times where I've sat at that ticket redeemer and I feel like I'm at work.
Right.
I'm like, I got to get 4,000 more
It's the
tickets. I
worst.
got to get them in here. And these 5,000 tickets are going to buy that pencil eraser.
On the r/Philadelphia subreddit, she posted a text exchange that's how it got out there, with her delivery driver who confirmed that he had picked up the Pasquale's order at the Chuck E. Cheese's. Neff also provided a receipt showing Pasquale's address as 270 Swedesford Road. That's the same address as Chuck E. Cheese. So she is a mini sleuth, this
Ooh,
gal.
she be girl be sleuthing on this one.
Girl be straight sleuthing here. So she did some sleuthing, found out the address is the same. Cancel the order. That's what I say. Cancel the damn order. The wings were nothing to write home about.
Of course the wings were nothing to write home about.
Who the hell orders wings from Chuck E. Cheese's? Even I know not to do that. It's wings from Chuck E. Cheese's. The pizza. They're not picky, though. Quote, if someone was real snobby, they might not be happy with it.
I'm not snobby. I'm fooled by Domino's, and I'm saying it's bad pizza.
If someone hadn't lost their sense of taste from symptoms of coronavirus, they'd be, I guess, okay with the pizza.
No. If someone had lost their sense of taste, they probably would be more okay with it.
Well, they probably wouldn't know the difference, but they probably, even just on texture alone, would be like, this doesn't
way
feel
too
right.
thick.
This
way
doesn't
too
feel
thick.
right.
Yeah.
It's automatically better tasting when it's surrounded by tokens and tickets. Is it?
No.
You've been there. Is it automatically better tasting around the tokens? When your hands are touching dirty money and dirty tokens that have been touched before, and then you
How
put
does
your
a place
hands up,
like Chuck E. Cheese survive this?
it will not.
How does Chuck E. Cheese survive the
The
pandemic?
habit trail alone, the human habit trail has got to be a petri dish of so many diseases. Syphilis, herpes,
Gonorrhea, Hep C.
In a text later, is she drunk texting Pasquale's, a.k.a. Chuck E. Cheese's himself, just firing off drunk texts late
I think
at
it's
night?
Chuck E. Cheese. And
Hey, Chucky, you up?
You keep saying Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah.
It's Chuck E. Cheese, and then they make the plate like we're going to Chuck E. Cheese's, like it's apostrophe S. It's his place. His last name is not Cheeses. It's Cheese.
A later text meant that she was stewing all evening, Jay, and finally fired off the later one. When she was drunk enough, I'm going to send one back to Chuck E. Cheese's.
I'm gonna say something to Chuck E. Cheese. It's Chuck E. Cheese's, and we're like,
it's cheese.
And then shut up.
Unfortunately, Pasquale's online menu doesn't offer the option to order a pizza box that turns into a mini skee ball game. That's what they wrote.
Because
That sucks ass. That would be cool because I guess you could open up the top of the cheese box and it would have those little pockets in there, and then you could roll it, and then the other one folds out and you could roll like a garlic knot up the thing, and in that would be great.
That would be cool.
You could make your own ski box.
get on that, Chuck E. Cheese's.
Come on now. Delivery
Chuck E.
service
Cheese.
have seen a spike in traffic during the lockdown, of course. Stay-at-home people, grocery services particular, have struggled to keep up with the demand. New York Times report from last year detailed that the rise of virtual restaurants that may use the same kitchen as known eateries but have a different menu, apps like Uber Eats and GrubHub may list as restaurants whose only space is a kitchen, which might be shared with other listings in the app. So this is how you can, Pasquale's
can
made
pass themselves off
as a special
But
thing.
here's my question, man.
It's
for real.
deceptive, though.
Is it? I mean, are they trying to, because are they saying in a way, and maybe you're right. I think you're probably right. They're
I'm
saying
on her side.
no one is sitting in their bed going, you know where we should order pizza from?
Pasquale's.
Chuck E. Cheese's.
No one's saying from
No
Chuck E.
one's
Cheese.
saying we should order Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
No. I
No
want the Chuck E. Cheese food without the Chuck E. Cheese experience.
No one's saying that.
No.
Nobody's saying just cut out all the
Chuck E.
articles.
Cheese-
Cut out all the articles from Playboy and send them to me. No one's
Chuck
saying
E.
that.
Cheese is a place where parents have to take their kids. It is never a place that anyone who is above the age of 8 wants to go.
Nope. There is not one adult in a Chuck E. Cheese saying, thank God I'm here.
And as soon as Dave and Buster's came along, Chuck E. Cheese was like, well, we're done.
Yeah. Because, well, what's crazy is
At least Dave and Buster's has like the game on.
like you see adults who are like super into Disney,
Yeah.
like crazy
I know,
into
I
Disney.
know.
It's not that way with Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
Chuck E. Cheese didn't
never-
build out. They didn't
They
build
don't
out.
have the backstory. They don't have the lore.
They
It's
don't
like,
have the
Chuck E.
backstory.
Cheese is, yeah. Anyway.
Like if the story of Chuck E. Cheese was that like he was a gigolo for a couple of years, he was down on his luck, he turned his life around, he made this pizza. Like now, all right.
This is what the gal said. In our area, there are also Pasquale locations with addresses that match Chuck E. Cheese's. Spots in South Philly and in Deptford, New Jersey. Had we
order
not
a cheesesteak. You're in Philly.
Had we not been quarantined and so bored, we might not have gotten to the bottom of it. So she's saying we were able to do sort of low grade detective work because we're
We're so
quarantine.
bored. That's right.
The main difference in this scenario is I was being mindful of going out of my way to find a local business. I see now I'm on her side.
So I am on her side. The goal from
She
her
got
initially,
chucked.
she got chucked.
She got cheese.
Girl got cheesed out.
That should be a prank show. Am I right?
You got chucked.
People order food from other things where they think are local mom and pop, and then boom, you got chucked.
I got chucked.
I got chucked.
I got chucked on Domino's Pizza.
Chuck E. Cheese is not alone in having multiple businesses listed for one location. For example, the Philadelphia addresses for GrubHub restaurant Rotisserie Roast, which offers rotisserie chicken and sides like mac and cheese, matched up with the addresses for Boston markets in this city. Like, that's it. The more generic the name is, the more you know it's a chain. Chicken World.
What is
Probably
that?
KFC. I don't know. I'm making this up.
Okay.
Burger Brasserie. That's McDonald's.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Roast Beefs. Arby's.
Which, by the way,
Actually
I
works.
didn't
You know
realize
that Arby's?
because
the
it's
way it's spelled out phonetically, yeah.
ARBYS. If it was just RB''S.
Well, so for Neff and her husband, the delivery service have helped them stay safe during the pandemic as they are at home with a 25-week-old daughter. So they had a very premature baby. Okay?
Well, unless it's a 25-week-old daughter. Maybe, you see, Rand, you're reading into the...
After the surprise delivery, 11 weeks early. So it is... Maybe it is 25.
And 2 months in the NICU, she's been at home with the parents.
So she probably is 25 weeks old right now.
But maybe she was born at 25
Well,
weeks.
no.
25 weeks is very young. Very
young.
Very, very young.
So how many weeks is a normal? 9 months is how
Is
many?
39 weeks. 40 weeks even, really. 40 weeks is a
So, but
pregnancy.
36 weeks is, if you delivered your baby at 36 weeks, so 11 weeks early, that's 25 weeks. So maybe this is all happening right now with a super preemie baby in their house.
Well, but the super
You're going to
preemie...
dupe a family with a preemie baby?
But
Come on, Charles.
But a super preemie baby would be in the hospital
Right.
for a while, in the NICU. 2 months in the NICU, it said. So 2 months in the NICU, maybe it is a 25-week baby that spent 2 months in the NICU, which is 8 more weeks.
She said things like contactless delivery on GrubHub have been a godsend, so we don't have to leave the house, but can have some semblance of a normal life. And then this is the quote. I was so on board with her the whole time until this quote. In a year or so, we'll be taking Millie to Chuck E. Cheese to experience all the excitement we had with the place growing up. No!
That's a baby.
What?
Not a year
You
or two.
cannot take a preemie baby to Chuck E. Cheese.
Not a year or two.
No.
Her immune system's not going to be
She
strong
can't
enough.
handle it.
She can't
Jesus
handle it.
Christ.
She cannot handle it. Do not do
If
that.
ever a kid had underlying conditions, I would not take a totally healthy 9-year-old to Chuck E. Cheese.
No, I would not do that.
I don't want to promote falsities here.
And we are not about that. Just know that on this
But
podcast.
I'm 100% certain that coronavirus started in the human habit trail at a Chuck E. Cheese.
in Wuhan, China.
There you go. I'm not certain of that at all.
You heard it here.
But you can imagine the bacteria. We said in that thing, the bacteria in that thing has got to just be like they're never cleaned. What adult goes up into that thing and cleans the human habitat up there? Don't ever let your kids up there, ever, ever, ever.
No, and don't take a 2-year-old. There's not enough stuff there for a 2-year-old.
So they'll
to
take her
enjoy.
to a Chuck E. Cheese, but quote, rest assured, I'll be having a chat with Pasquale when we're there. What is
Oh my God.
that?
Now
solve?
she thinks that's a real person.
What is that song?
I got to use you. Pasquale is a guy who doesn't want to be working in the back of a Chuck E. Cheese. So if you tell
It's
him,
either a pimply faced 19-year-old
or it's like
or
a 37-year-old immigrant who's working so hard,
or a 37-year-old guy who lives in his van because he's going through a very nasty divorce.
and he's killed 2 people.
He
so
does
that's not the
not-
guy you want to be arguing with.
Yeah. And you're going to come down there and be like, you disguise yourself. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to get away from my ex-wife. And she's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
You disguise yourself as a pizza
And
delivery.
I thought you were a mom and pop. Like, this discussion is going to go down about as well as a 2-year-old at Chuck E. Cheese.
it is the definition of falling on deaf ears.
It's no,
You're
no way.
Yeah, go have a word with Pasquale when you get there.
But you're Pasquale, ma'am. I'm just a guy who's going through a nasty divorce and living in my
No,
car
but
while
you're
I figure out my life.
Pasquale. We need to have this conversation. I need closure before I can trust you as a character again.
Nope.
You're too into Chuck E. Cheese.
You're into the lore.
Look,
that
if you're
doesn't
so into
exist.
Chuck E. Cheese, you want to bring your kid there, then you shouldn't be upset
Nope.
that it turned out to be Chuck E.
You
Cheese.
should be pumped.
You should be psyched. Oh, look.
Look, it's a gift.
We thought it was this, but it's this place that we can't wait to take our daughter to.
Yeah, our daughter to who won't
Now,
understand.
if you hated Chuck E. Cheese, now it's a whole story. If you had like an issue with like corporate places.
See how I was with her the whole time until that quote?
We jumped off your train before the last stop, ma'am. We jumped off your train.
Well, thank you guys for staying on our train. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you're going to start this next week off strong. We love you guys. Punch a water faucet, then wash your hands. Stay socially distanced, but remember, stay connected through this time.
Don't get infected.
Stay protected, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da.